Hello, I'm Egfer, and welcome to episode 4 of 4 in my hybrid trading hall, which is a trading hall you can see around me here with a breeder. And we are today going to be showing how to make an iron farm on top of this trading hall. And actually, this is probably the simplest part of the build. It's pretty straightforward, and the video is not going to take very, very long. So I'm going to cover off a couple of iron farm mechanics as well, which hopefully will help you to troubleshoot this iron farm if you have any problems. But if you build it the way I've built it, then you won't have any problems, okay? But if you've not looked at the whole series yet, go back and certainly check out the showcase, which is video 1, and I will put all the links down in the description. And then, look at video 2, which is building the trading hall, video 3, which is building the breeder, and then come back and we can do the iron farm. So I want to recap some basics of the iron farm mechanics. This is a slide which I did originally for a previous video for 1.16. The mechanics have changed since then, so that video is no longer valid, and I've made some adjustments to these slides. But essentially, to have an iron farm, you need to have at least 10 villagers. And if you have 10 villagers, then 1 golem can be alive at a time. If you've got 22 golems can be alive at a time, and 33 golems can be alive at a time. Okay, and you get more iron depending on how many golems can be alive at once. So it goes up by about 23% when you go from 10 to 20 villagers, and another 3 to 4% when you go to 30. So it's diminishing returns. Now, in our trading hall, of course, we can have up to 42 villagers, and that's going to pretty much max out the farm. But just to note that it's going to vary over time. So if you first start your trading hall, you haven't got many villagers in, then the iron farm is going to be relatively slow. If you've got less than 10 villagers, you get no golems. Anywhere between 11 and 19 is the same as having 10. And anywhere between 21 and 29, same as having 20, etc. Right? But as soon as you get to beyond 20, you need more beds. We'll talk about beds in a second. There's pretty much no benefits having more than 30 villagers, but again, because it's primarily a trading hall we're building, we can have up to 42 because we want 42 trading villagers, and that's going to, as I say, give you pretty good rates from your iron farm once it's fully populated. In fact, pretty good. It's going to pretty much max out the rates for an iron farm. It's going to be well over 400. The maximum is 411. Okay. Just to note, player-created golems don't count towards the golem cap, so you don't need to worry about those. And then one of the key things is that, the quicker you can kill a golem and remove it from the cap, then the game is going to have more chance to spawn another, and that's why the rates increase, right? So if you're killing them really fast, then actually adding more villagers doesn't really make a difference. On the other hand, if you're killing them slowly, relatively slowly, then adding more villagers makes more of a difference, and you get better benefits from doing that. So in our trading hall iron farm, the killing time is going to be relatively slow, 15 seconds, 16 seconds time on average. But because we're eventually going to have loads of villagers, then we're going to max out the rates. But it will be slower when you first start off with 10 or 20 villagers, right? Okay, what about beds? So to make an iron farm in Bedrock, you need at least 20 beds, minimum. And also, every villager must be connected to a bed. So if you have more than 20 villagers, you need as many beds as you have villagers as a minimum. Doesn't matter if you've got more, okay? But if there are more villagers than beds, you'll get no golems at all. If there are fewer than 20 beds, you'll get no golems at all, right? So our trading hall is designed to hold up to 42 villagers. We are going to put in 45 beds. Okay, and the reason for that is partly because it fits nicely in the space, and partly because we need the 42, and the 3 extra are to allow us to use our breeder to capture more villagers, and maybe we want to take them off to repopulate a village or do something else with them, and it won't affect our iron farm whilst those villagers are around because they'll have beds available. What about working requirements? So in a trading hall, this is pretty standard, right? Every villager will have a workstation and therefore will be able to work at their workstation every day. But for an iron farm, at least 75% of villagers must have worked. You don't need all of them to have worked, which means in a 10 villager iron farm, only 8 have to have worked, 20 villager iron farm, 15, and in a 30 villager iron farm, 23. But like I say, for our trading hall, that's not going to be important. The only time it does make maybe a slight difference is when we first start to, or when we bring new villagers in, right? And when you bring new villagers in, they won't have worked yet, and they only work during their normal working hours. So that's 0600 to 0800 in the morning. It's actually a 1 minute 40-second real-time period, and 1600 to 1700 in the afternoon. That's 50 seconds. So it's not, you know, big periods, but they've got to have direct access to their workstations at you know, sometime during those 2 periods, or else your iron farm stops. But because only 75% of them need to do that, when we bring new villagers in, they won't have worked until, you know, they get to work. But your iron farm will keep running anyway.
Okay, so let's dive straight in.
Let's build an iron farm. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a platform where we're going to put our beds. Okay, and we're going to stack those beds up. We're going to stack them up 5 high. So first of all, build a wall here, which is 4x2, and one 4x2 there. We're going to do the same over here. Keep these beds in place at the moment, especially if you've got villagers already in your trading hall, because if you break these beds, you break the village, and these guys will shuffle up their workstations, and we don't want that. So we're going to start off by building like this, and there, and here as well, here. Okay, and then we're going to put beds onto, in fact, actually, I want this filled in as well. So come up there and come up there. So we should have a space like this where we're just keeping these beds here for now. I will be breaking those in a moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to put beds here, 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 and here, and another bed there. And then we need to break out one layer of this and just keep going. But it's important that you orient the beds the way I'm doing, just to be sure that we end up with our pillows where they're designed to be for this iron farm. Okay, so don't get creative with your direction of your bed. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this now, and we can now break these 2 beds here, and there should be no shuffling of workstations that happens because we haven't destroyed our village. And then we're going to build up here like so. And we're going to build, before we do anything more, actually, I want to put chests in here. So we're going to put double chests in here like this. So one down in the top like that. And we're going to put hoppers into the back of these chests. So those hoppers are pointing into the back of a chest like that, like so. And I want one more on top. I'm going to put a temporary block here. And I'm going to point the hopper into that block. I don't want this hopper pointing downwards. So it does point downwards. You could end up with items ending up in this top chest rather than the bottom chest. Okay. That's just because this hopper will push items down and this hopper will suck items down. You end up with more than one item at once in here, and one gets sucked down and one gets pushed into this chest. Right. So have this one pointing sideways. Stick a campfire on top of it. And then just build up here as well. And we're going to put our beds there, there. And then the same on this side here. And finally here. And what you'll see is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 beds by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 20 beds in that section. There's another 5 beds here. That's 25, another 20 over here. So 45 beds. We have 42 villagers in total. And that means we've got 3 spare beds for any other villagers we bring in, you know, maybe take off somewhere else. Okay. Right, next. Slabs. So level with the top of the lights. We're going to put a row of slabs like this, going all the way up to the corner. And we're going to come around this way and do it along this here as well. And the same here. All the way along there. And then this one, we're going to go along here. And oops, and we're going to join that up in the corner like so. And then these, so not the front side, but these two sides, I want another row of slabs. There, there, and along here. Oops, missed. Okay, so that should look like this now. So you basically got one set of slabs on the front and then two on each of the other three sides. The next thing I'm going to do is take some solid blocks. It doesn't really matter where you start, but go out above the corner of the slabs. And we're just basically going to fill all of this in like this. Don't go over the slabs, leave a space above the slabs like so. And we're just going to build all of this. So I'll finish it off and we'll come back. Okay, and you see in the middle here, we've got the campfire. So we're just going to leave a gap there and carry on. So it should now look like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some glass and we're going to come up from one of the corners with a temporary block and then up by 2. And we're going to run that all the way around this entire platform and come back to this corner here. So it's going to end up there. Okay, so I'll do that. And now your iron farm should look like this. And do you remember when we were talking about the mechanics, we talked about counting 8 blocks out from the bed on the furthest edges. So if I take this bed, for example, I count 8 blocks out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's above the stair. It's where that slab is. And you'll see that above that slab, I have an air block. And above that, I've got something else, which is going to block golem spawns. So if the golem tries to spawn in this space, the game will go, I can't spawn on glass. I'm going to look down. I could spawn on this top slab, but there's not space. And then I'm going to stop looking. And so the golems can't spawn along this edge here. The same is true for these ones and the same at the back here. So just be really careful that you haven't put anything in between the slabs and the glass. That's really important. If I come back over here and I count from this bed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you'll see that that's the second layer of slabs. Okay, so so remember that's at the back. If I count from this bed pillow, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the first layer of slabs. And the same is going to be true from this one. It's going to take me to my first layer of slabs. So let's go back out and have a look at that. So my first layer of slabs has a block above, which will stop spawning. So that's good. The second layer of slabs doesn't matter because it's outside the spawning range. But at the back, this set of slabs could spawn golems in theory. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to just block that off by putting bottom slabs along here. So those bottom slabs will block the golem spawning, and they have a 1 block airspace underneath, which the golems could theoretically spawn on, but then they can't because it's blocked. So now that is the farm almost completely spawn proofed. And why do I say almost? Well, this block in the middle is not spawnable by a golem, it's fire. And underneath that, we've got hoppers. And the hoppers go all the way down to the ground, or to a platform here. And then underneath the iron farm, the hoppers are above here, the center block. And lo and behold, there is a space here where a golem could spawn. So this block must be a non-spawnable block. So however you want to do it, or you could, if you wanted, you could bring your hoppers further down and put chests along here as well, and that would block the golem spawning. They won't be able to spawn on anything further down than this, okay? But make sure this is a non-spawnable block at this point here, or that you've got some sort of tower of blocks like that, which will prevent the golems spawning. And you can see we're already getting cats spawning on here. We might get golems anytime. But the next thing I want to do is put our water in here, which will push the golems and the cats towards the middle and any items down into the campfire and therefore the hoppers underneath. So the campfire is there to kill cats and collect string, and there's golem. But it won't destroy items. So those items actually go down into the hoppers below. Okay, so start off by putting a water source in the corner, so on the second block up, and do that in each of the 4 corners, like so. And then you want to leave a space. So where you've got this floating water, sloping water coming down, you want to not do anything there. But then on the bottom glass block here, place a water source. Go too long, place another water source. That fills this one in. Too long, place another one. And if you've just got a couple of buckets of water, you can place 2, collect from the middle, place the next one along, collect from the middle, and keep going that way. So that's just a bit more... save you some water buckets. And I'm going to do that all the way around like so. And what we'll end up with is our water flowing off to the middle and everything collecting around that campfire. And you see we've got 2 golems because I've got villagers in my trading hall already. They're going to be in our way, to be honest, so I'm going to kill them. The next thing we want to do is put in a lava system. So I'm going to start off by placing a warped fence gate, 2 up from the campfire, like this. Get rid of that. And it has to be warped or crimson because otherwise it might burn with lava. So we want to avoid that. And then I'm going to come out on all 4 sides from there. This. And then I want to put in a block here, 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 and here. And we're going to put another block. So hang on, where's it going? Yeah, another block above here, fence gate above here, above here, above here, and above here. So at the moment my lava could still potentially escape out of this corner. So I'm going to put in another block, fence gate here and here, and the same on this side. Fence gate here and here. And we can get rid of these blocks now. And I'm hoping that that's going to hold my lava in place. But before we put any lava in, we're going to open every fence gate. Like this. Make sure they're all open. And then on the middle one, place a lava bucket. And that will spread out and stay in place there. And I've made it a little bit wider than necessary just to make sure that we can kill more than one golem at once. It does restrict spawning spaces, but actually we've got so many spawning spaces in here that you'll get 100% spawn success rate anyway. So you don't need to worry about that. It's better to make sure that we can kill our golems a little bit faster. And that's it. We have an iron farm. We have a collection system. And we should already be seeing iron, poppies, and string arriving in here. And remember what I said earlier, that when you start off with just 10 villagers in your trading hall, the iron farm will be relatively slow. But when you get up to 30 or 40 villagers, then this will be running at nearly max rates. If you got this far, I want to say a really massive thank you because it's one of the builds I'm most proud of that I've made. It's a fully fledged, fully automatic trading hall with breeder, with iron farm, and I think it's pretty good. And I hope you really like it as well if you build it. So my hair's on fire. That's a shame. Oh well. So yeah, so I hope you really like it. And I hope you, if you do like it, spend a bit of time, have a look around the channel, see what you think. And if you want to subscribe, then please do. But for now, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.